Welcome back to the Allegedly Podcast. You're here with the crew, Jet, T.O., and Inkspot. And we're back with our original segment. It's called Stud Dud My New Bud, where we give our expertise on who you think we should have in your lineup, who you think you shouldn't have in your lineup, and someone who's on the rise to possibly get into a flex spot. So going into week 3, I think we should, kind of recap on how we've been doing in the last few weeks to start the season before we give y'all our SDMBs. I like that SDMBs um for week 3. So this is the recap of week 1 and week 2. I have to turn it over to TOs. He go into detail about it.
So as you're looking at it, you're seeing it broken down for week 1 and week 2, and each of our picks for those weeks. Um, if you see a green, then that means that pick was good. Yellow is kind of in between, and if it's red, then that means we were wrong on it. We're gonna start keeping track, so y'all can, see if you want to take advice from us or not.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
Looking in the first week, Inkspot was real solid in the first week. He went 3 for 3 on his stud dud and my new bud. His stud studded, his dud dudded, and his my new bud came through for him. So he was a solid 3 for 3. Jet went 2 for 3. He got his stud and his dud correct. And when we say a dud, if you're a superstar, if you don't produce, you become a dud, and that's kind of what you see with Allen Robinson and he only had 9 points, so that's a dud for a wide receiver position. And then he wasn't so right on the Najee Harris pick. He didn't really come through in week 1. If you look at my picks, Kittle, I think Kittle scored what you said, 13 in week 1, X spot, what it was, 13 or 11?
Yeah, he had 11 in week 1.
And they were projecting him to go for like 14 or 15, something like that. So that's why it's kind of in between. Those tight end points are so hard to come by. Now, that's not the typical Kittle, but coming back from an injury, so we kind of gave it an in between. We finessed that one a little bit.
Anything under 10 is a dud.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And then
Fact.
Russell Gage being my new bud went for 0 in week 1, so that was rough. We get to
Chocolate
week
covered.
Yes, indeed. You get into week 2 and you can see, man, we can pick the studs. The studs seem pretty easy to pick. All of us got our studs correct. Aaron Jones went crazy. Aaron Rodgers went crazy. Cooper Kupp went dumb. So we were all solid right there. But when we start to go to the duds and my new buds, things got a little shaky. The only one that was successful at picking out the dud that week was Jets. So what happened with that pick? Why were you so confident with that Shark would be a dud in week 2?
I I I feel like Denver defense, man. That's the way they play, right? Denver, right?
Mm-hmm.
13. Yeah, and I like the 13 pick a lot. I think the defense is sneaky good. And I mean, Trevor Lawrence is gonna have his games, man, where he on his growing pains. So I just didn't like that matchup for DJ Chark in particular. Um, I think Marvin Jones, I think he scored, but I think Marvin Jones scores everywhere he goes sometimes. Like he just, what
Yeah.
I'm saying, end zone. If you look at Marvin Jones in the last 5, 6 years, everywhere he go, he's scoring touchdowns. So, but I just thought it was a bad matchup for DJ Chalk in particular.
And then when we get down to my new bud, none of us hit on my new bud last week. What you think happened right there, Ink Spot? If you look at the my new bud we had for each of those players last week, you being Cole Beasley, Jet went with Eli Mitchell, and I went with Jawan Johnson from New Orleans. Why you think we missed on those? What you think happened in those spaces?
We kind of fell in love with the week 1 volume, I'm gonna say, because I know Cole had 10 targets, I want to say. So if you could repeat 10 targets, I think you'll produce. He didn't repeat that. Elijah, I think he got hurt. I want to say his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So that slowed him up. And uh what I see is week to week on my new bud. If I had to say anything, it's week to week.
Week to week. Nothing wrong with that. So if you're looking at week 2 stats, Ink Spot went 1 for 3 last week. Jet went 2 for 3, real consistent. And then I was consistent too, 1 for 3 again. So we'll see. But now let's get into our week 3 predictions and see what's going to happen this week. We're going to start out with our studs for this week. And let's start with you, Ink Spot. You went with Sterling Shepard. Talk to me about it.
If you got Sterling Shepard, man, put him in your lineup. I'm looking for big things. He's leading the team in targets right now, and they're going against an Atlanta team. And I don't think that Atlanta's defense is the strong point of their team. I don't think the offense either, but that's another story. Yeah, so if you got Sterling Shepard, I think he's a real stud this week. Double-digit targets. If you get a touchdown, the yards is there. Start Sterling Shepard.
So you starting Sterling Shepard this week. Jet, you going with Deebo Samuels, man. What you seeing out there in San Francisco?
Man, I mean, they love him out there, clearly. Like, I mean, he's clearly the number one. I mean, going into the season, you would think Kittle would be the number one option. I mean, obviously, he's one of the best tight ends in the league, but these Deebo Samuel is very explosive. I see his target shares staying where they are or even improving as the season goes on. And I mean, sometimes, in Kyle Shanahan's offense, they like to run the ball with him too. Like, you just never know. You might get a carry or two with his explosiveness and his excitement with the ball. I think anything can happen. So I like Deebo Samuel a lot this week.
They definitely like to get him the ball, man, in a variety of ways. So I can see why that's a big pick. My stud this week, I'm going to go untraditional here, and I'm going to pick a defense, and I'm going with Carolina defense. And here's why. It's a Thursday night game, so we're on a short week. The team they're playing against is playing a rookie quarterback in David Smith. I picked him last year a couple times in Madden on those imported rosters. He wasn't that good then, so I don't think he's going to be that good now. But check this out. When you look at Carolina the last 2 weeks on defense, they scored 10 points week 1. They scored 13 points in week 2. And they're creating a lot of turnovers and sacks. They got 10 sacks in 2 weeks, 3 interceptions, and a forced fumble. So this is a defense that they're hungry right now. They're searching for the ball and they're making plays. Early in the season, I always give the defense a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Like they should be better early in the season than offenses. That's just kind of how it works. So rookie quarterback, first start on a short week, playing a team that's been taking the ball away. I think that's a recipe for a big game for a defense. I'm expecting them to. I'm hoping. I'm not gonna give the expected. I'm hoping because I did pick them up on the waivers. I'm looking for somewhere from 15 to 20. I think they might even score a defensive touchdown in this game. So I'm going with Carolina. If nobody has them in your league, go pick them up. That's a good defensive play this week. So that's who I'm going with for my stud.
I like it too, man. I like it.
Yeah. For the dud, let's start with you, Jet. Who you got for your dud this week?
For my dud, I got DeAndre Swift, man. Although I do like this particular player, I liked him in college. He's very explosive, when he gets the ball. But I just think Baltimore is I think they're starting to get rolling. Lamar got rolling last week. I think he's going to continue to roll, which is going to continue to ignite the whole team. As that team that team goes as Lamar goes. And I think Detroit is not a really good football team at this point in time in the season. I think they fight, but overall, I think Baltimore will stifle them in the run game. He might catch a couple catches, but other than that, I don't see him getting over 10 points.
Gotcha. Tough time. It could be some tough times, and I know how you feel about those running backs in Detroit or the running back situation they have in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Spot, you going with Brandon Cooks as your dud this week? Talk to me.
I'm going with Brandon Cooks. It kind of leads off of what you said with Carolina defense. We got a quarterback for his first start on a short week, on a Thursday, who's playing a defense that's real stingy. I do think they could be in a lot of throwing situations, but targets don't equal completion. So his targets might be there, but I just don't think the guy that's throwing him the ball gonna get it there this week.
Make it tough for him. So even like you said, I like what you say. Targets don't equal completions. You can get 10 of them, you only catch one. That's a bad day. That is a bad day.
Right.
And for my dud this week, I'm stepping out on a limb. This is a player that's been producing lately. But I think it's just one of them games where you gotta tamper down the expectation. And that's David Montgomery, running back from Chicago. I think he's a good player. I actually like him a lot. But I think this week what's going to happen is the flow of the game. I don't think is going to be in Chicago's favor. If they got to go out there and start Justin Fields on the road for the first time, that's going to be tough, man. It's the NFL. Not saying that the guy is not talented, but that's going to be tough, especially when you got a defense that has some superstars like they have in Cleveland. Cleveland's 2-0. I'm pretty sure they're trying to. They want to be. No, they're 1-1, but they want to be 2-1. So I think they're going to come out, play extremely hard. And what's going to happen is I think Cleveland takes an early lead, and that prevents the Bears from just running the ball or trying to protect Justin Fields without running the ball. So if Cleveland hops out early with an early lead, I think that could change the flow of the game and kind of just take David Montgomery out, not from a skill standpoint, but from just the approach to the game and them having to come back. He may catch a couple balls that might be possible, but I don't think he has a big one this week against Cleveland. So that's what I'm going with my dub.
I like that pick, man. But you don't think it's like kind of weird that Justin Fields' first start is in Ohio? Like,
I didn't think about that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm superstitious, but I like just think it's weird stuff like that sometimes. So, like, what if, like he played at Ohio State, his first start is in Ohio. What if he had that game where, like it's possible.
He keeps a minute and they can run the ball.
Yeah, and with the running the ball situation, like it's different when Andy Dalton handing you the ball or somebody that can run just as good as probably you. With the zone that you gotta watch for both of them. You know what I'm saying?
11 football. You're right.
Yeah. So
we'll see. I feel you though. That's a strange coincidence.
I understand your logic with the rookie quarterback going in and Browns defense is actually really good, but it's just any given Sunday, man.
You're right. We'll see. That'll be one we'll watch because I do want to watch Justin Fields in his entirety and going up against a team like that. I'm gonna definitely have him on the TV on one of the screens for sure. And that takes us to my favorite part of Stud Dud, my new bud, and that's my new bud because this is the time to go grab somebody that you may not have or somebody that you've been having on your bench that you might as well just bring him on up, put him in the lineup because he's gonna go crazy this week. I'm gonna start this one off, fellas. If you're in a 10-man league, this guy might not even be on somebody's roster right now. But you need to go out and take a look at the David Jones, quarterback for the Giants, man. He has been performing lately, man. In the first 2 games of the year, he's put up some numbers, bro. He last week he had 98 rushing yards and a touchdown. Yeah. Right?
Crazy.
You may not realize it, but I think the guy's like 6'4", 6'5", like 240, 250, somewhere like that. Like I never thought about it like that, but he's been playing good football. He doesn't have an interception yet. Only 2 touchdowns, I believe, but he's protecting the ball in that way, and he's actually running. I think he had about 40 or so rushing yards week 1. Came back with a 98-yard game, and he had a huge run, man, that I didn't think he'd be able to do, but he is. So I'm gonna say if you don't have a quarterback and you're streaming a quarterback, this is a place to go this week. I think he's gonna be all right in the week 3 matchup. I think he's gonna become someone that you could pick up and roll with him if you need to when your starting quarterback is on the bench.
I like it, man. My new bud, man, is I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor. Now I know coming into the season, Jonathan Taylor was rated higher than I think his production so far led to be. So, but I choose him as a new bud because I don't feel like he's had that breakout game to live up to how high he was rated. So this week is the game, though. I think against Tennessee, a division game, he's been getting a lot of touches. He's been getting the right touches in the red zone. I think he has the most goal line or red zone touches than any running back right now in fantasy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So
most red zone touches.
You're right. Thank you, Ep5, for that confirmation. And
yeah,
I think that now he just needs to punch it in, and I think he does that this week multiple times.
I can see that happen. He got talent, man. He's an extremely talented running back. And he's a 3 down back, so he could potentially ball like that. What you got, H5?
My new bud, man, my new bud. Now this is kind of weird because it's a receiver in a run-heavy offense. Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, man. His target share has been up. He's been scoring in double digits the first 2 weeks. I know the first 2 weeks he was probably like, I want to play him, but I don't know. I'm letting you know right now, put him in. Lamar's looking for him early and often. This kid is really good. He changed his number to number 5. And hey, man, I mean, Hollywood, lights, camera, action, it kind of goes together, you know. So if you have Hollywood Brown, please insert him in your lineup and have nice expectations. At
Hey,
least
man,
15 points. At least 15.
he's
But
lightning
he
in the
can
bottle.
explode. He
He's
can
lightning in the bottle.
explode.
He definitely is. You give a guy like that 9 or so targets, he catches 5 or 6 of them. The chances of him getting loose on one of them,
It's
that's pretty
high.
high. That's pretty high. And
Right.
he can get away. He can get away and get away real quick. So I
Yeah.
like it, man. I like it. I think he can put up big numbers. If Lamar has a good game, I can see that happening. I can see that happening.
Yeah. Detroit, yeah, I think Lamar should have a good one.
Everyone, everyone has a good one against Detroit. At least that's what it seems like. Everybody plays well against Detroit. Like I say
Yes.
every week,
Yeah.
you play your players against Detroit. You play your
Right.
Oh, you
players
got
against Detroit. So that's it for this week's edition of Stud Dud My New Bud. Once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave us some comments. Let us know. Let us know if our picks helped you out or not, or if our picks trashed your team for this week. We can take it.
Follow.
like,
Yes, indeed. Yes,
right.
indeed. The Allegedly Podcast, man. We coming to you every week. See you next time.